There's a bizarre attraction to gang culture for kids who live in Avadio, and now one man is revealing the truth about the deadly lifestyle of gang banging. He's got a new book.
Yeah, he hopes it might transform the lives of some of the at-risk youth, showing them that sometimes the only way out of gangs is death. It's called Homeboy: Soul, Pride, Terror, and Street Justice in America. He's joining us in the studio today. It's co-author Fred Stawitz. Fred, welcome to you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
I'm going to stereotype a little bit, but I just wonder how you met the subject of this book and sort of how this all came to be, because you certainly don't look like the type of person that hangs out with gang members.
Well, I ran into Don at my wife and I ran into Don at a writers' conference in Glendale, and he was looking to tell his story because he wanted to share that with other people and kind of give them an idea of what gangs were really like, so they could maybe avoid that lifestyle and the travail that he encountered.
And we're talking about Don Armijo here,
yes,
who wrote the book along with you, right?
Yes, this is his story. He grew up in Pomona, out on the east edge of Los Angeles County. He got jumped into a gang at the age of 15 and was immediately tossed into what you might consider an urban war zone. And in that zone, when he got into the gangs were in instant competition with society for Don's attention in education, jobs, and relationships. And the gang won. He became the shot caller of the gang. He was the leader of the gang and was involved in a murder, went to prison, and in prison Don realized that the decisions he'd made put him in that cell. And if he wanted to change his life and head in a different direction, he needed to make different decisions.
What was it that you saw in him that made you want to share his story?
We worked with him just kind of on an advisory basis first. And what I saw in him was a commitment to the mission of telling his story and telling it accurately, whether it made him look good or bad, but to tell the story accurately.
And he also wanted to tell this story, obviously. He had something to offer, and I imagine he wanted to do it for younger boys watching him.
I think the story actually, and from Don's perspective, has a larger implication, because in addressing the gang issues, so many people focus on the kids changing their ways. But if you think about the decision process and the consequences of decisions, our communities are shaped by the decisions our community leaders make, business leaders, and the elected officials. And if we want our communities to go in a different direction, then those individuals, we need to select, we need to guide them in making different decisions. And the key factor in keeping kids out of gangs is keep them in school. The conditions in our communities that impact whether kids continue in school or not are the ones that relate to how active gangs are. So if we want to keep kids out of gangs, we keep them in school and we help them be successful.
All right, the book is Homeboy: Soul. It's on the market right now. We want to switch gears real quick. We're very lucky to have you with us today because you're also an expert in the natural gas industry, and we have this big explosion in San Bruno, and a lot of people just wondering, how could this happen? Are there any warnings that the people there could have known, besides some people saying they smelled natural gas?
Well, that's the first thing I noticed on reading the AP report. And as soon as you smell gas, get out of the area. Don't make a phone call there. Don't do anything that would create a spark, any kind of electrical function within that area. Just get out of the area and call the gas company. That's the first thing that everyone should do.
A lot of people, of course, have gas lines running down the middle of their streets. What could cause a gas line to rupture like that? Again, we don't know exactly what happened there, but a lot of folks are
there are a variety of factors that, first of all, when a gas line leaks, what causes the explosion is that the air-gas mixture reaches a certain point, and then that mixture encounters a spark. And so on the AP report, I read that they had indicated that they'd smelled gas for the previous week. Yeah. That should have been a pretty serious indication to address it. But what makes a gas line leak are corrosion issues with what's in the contents, what soil it's in, seismic activity around the soil that can weaken it. The gas line is pressurized, so it's like it's flexible, and so it flexes with the different pressures. So stress, corrosion,
many
cracking.
things could have caused it.
Yeah, and the National Safety and Transportation Board does an excellent job on investigating. So their report will really dig into what happened.
All right, Fred Stawitz, thank you for being with us.
My pleasure.
Again, the book Homeboy: Soul. Good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fred.